makes a piss yellow. Like a man. Manly yellow piss. None of that clear water, gay little girl piss. Man's piss. And the reason for that is very simple. We have all of the vitamins, minerals, and amino acids the body can need in one convenient scoop of fire blood. And like a man, we have made it excessive. Are you the kind of person who's going to take a supplement which tastes disgusting with no flavoring whatsoever? Or are you going to be the kind of man who takes a supplement that tastes like cookie crumble and your pee's not even yellow because there's only a little bit of vitamins in it? Oh, but I've only got my daily recommended allocation of vitamin B12. I'm scared I might pee out too many vitamins. Greta Thunberg will get mad at me for being wasteful. I don't want Greta to come into the gym and beat me up. Fucking gay.
After 18 years, I've decided to finally stop drinking. Poor quality tequilas. Who needs the headache? Introducing Talisman. Tequila by Tristan Tate.
Okay. Sorry, I just sent the link around. That, what's his name? Rodriguez, the reporter that was talking about Epstein and Clinton. That was, what do the kids say? That was fire. That was fire. It was the bomb or whatever. He said the most famous Clinton-related suicide, and then he slid it, like Epstein. Middleton is the most infamous one because he was shot with a shotgun in the chest and hung from an extension cord. How you do that, I'm not sure. I guess as you're hanging, you shoot yourself. I don't know. It was a way of like, look, we're gonna murder you in the most ridiculous way and call it a suicide, and the press is gonna go along with it because that's the way of flexing their nuts. Is saying, don't even bother, because we're gonna do this in the most ridiculous ways that you know that we did it, and we're still gonna get away with it. And, Epstein was very similar. It's the guard is asleep and the cameras are broken and his cell door is open and his roommate had just been moved out. Whatever. But Patel and, what's that other Christian Zionist? The Fox News dude. Starts with a B. What's his name? He's a fucking idiot. Anyway, they both said he killed himself. Bongino or something like that. Like Rumbler. That's what we have. Patel and Bongino and Bondi. That's why you will never get anything. They had Bindergate where they gave a bunch of already released files, basically black book stuff, to a bunch of Zionist influencers. I thought they were going to start dancing and maybe a building would fall down. But speaking of fallen buildings, the Empire Mass 9/11 movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes completed. I'm doing the art student section right now. It's a lot. Information dense, even by my standards. It's pretty dense. It's going to be a lot. But it's everything you need to know about 9/11. These guys in their WinPos 53 README file. Got hold of that. Went all over the DEA agents and DEA groups. These bastards, man. It was, as I said, they absolutely protected Al Qaeda from local law enforcement. Hell yeah. I guess that'll come out in 3 or 4 months. We'll have it finished. I hope. I'll definitely have it for private screenings by August. Whatever. If I have 3 hours done, then that's what I'll do. We'll see what happens. A little bit of Tate news. So as soon as they get exonerated in Romania, predictably, the UK comes out, both of them. 11 counts for Tristan, 10 for Andrew. I don't know how Andrew could let Tristan win like that, but rape, human trafficking, the usual. They have something called they have like 3 categories for assault, and so it's the one in the middle, whatever it is, not aggravated. That's not how the British, what do they say? Actual bodily harm or something like that. I mean, it's bodily harm, whatever. I guess that means bruises, no broken bones or anything, but you were harmed. I don't know. Essentially, they had a webcam business full of whores. They were sleeping with them. Probably had some rough sex. The girl's like, oh, my pussy hurts. You know what? I didn't like that style of sex. I'm just going to say it was rape. And because I did business over here and over here, well, I moved across the line, so I was human trafficked too. And you know what? It's kind of their, I mean, I ain't going to say it's their fault, because you should never falsely accuse someone of rape or anything that serious. But if you lie down with dogs, you wake up with fleas. If you hang around white trash whores, this is inevitable. Cut those type of people out of your life, because they're just, the same thing with drug addicts. Like, wait, this damn motorcycle to go by. You can't fix them. You can never trust an addict. You're not some hero that's going to fix their life for them, whatever. Only they can fix themselves. Most of them won't. Just cut those people out of your life. The more of that filth you hang around, the higher percentages are that at least one of them is going to make something up and come after you, especially if you have money. You can't hang around poor people. I wouldn't even let them on your property. Oh, I've stubbed my toe. I think I need a lawsuit. They're so litigious everywhere. Of course, now the UK has actual rapists and traffickers, like in their own police departments, by the way. I looked into Bedfordshire, and of course, if you know the Rupert Wilson case, we went all into that. Like north of London, especially, all those counties up there are just weird. And they did have some infamous cases of like serial rapists in the police department, and it got reported to the police, and lo and behold, they wouldn't do anything because it was one of their own, until it got so big they couldn't control it. They're like, oh yeah, we're definitely different. We have different standards in screening now. We don't have that anymore. And then they did. They had another female cop in Bedfordshire was sleeping with a prisoner, took his tag off so he could get reamed. Why do women love criminals so much? I don't know. But yeah, so you're talking about a society where it's guilty until proven innocent. It's the opposite of most places. Keir Starmer has it out for them, obviously. They're like, oh my God, you don't say his name in school. He's a misogynist. And that's what it's about. They don't like their position politically. So they're like, find a crime and shut them down. They already took their social media, but they couldn't get Elon to take the X away. So, as long as you have one thing, you're not really gone. I think if they had taken Twitter away, that would have been the end of them. Like, you absolutely can cancel people. And there were some big names. Like, look at what happened to Stefan Molyneux once they erased his YouTube. That was it. He's too old to start over. That was the end of him. There've been some people like that just can't make it without YouTube. And it's hard to make it with Twitter. Twitter's way smaller than YouTube, but you can do it. If you're Andrew Tate with 10.7 million followers, you can do it. But they almost got relegated to obscurity as they were locked away in a dungeon. Like they went from, this to that. But when you see people get blanket banned, like, oh, they all decided to ban you at the same time, huh? That wasn't organized. These are different companies. And you have the president and you have the prime minister and the head of a large state like Florida all talking about you and say, oh, they're here? Oh my God. You're supposed to be discussing the Ukraine war and the reporters are asking about the fucking Tate brothers. This is just beyond stupid. But then again, what's everybody paying attention to right now? Is it the starvation in Gaza? No. It's P. Diddy. It's, oh my God, baby oil. Oh, they peed in her mouth. Ooh, gross. Oh, he liked to wear a veil and cuck. He watched Cassie get reamed by some male hooker called the Punisher. And oh, do you hear what they did? And like with the candle wax, but they're just obsessed with sex and celebrities. You have children on fire, people forced in cages, concentration camp style. They're just murdering everybody. They opened fire today. I saw Robert in the cash report on that. There was a U.S. aid point, and the Israeli just started machine gunning civilians. Like, oh, you need food? All right, let's see. And you know what? There will be no consequence for that. Like, they're desperate and running to aid trucks. And for the umpteenth time, Israel uses the trucks as bait. And whoever tries to get food at them, they shoot them. Whoever. Mothers, kids, it doesn't matter. Because this is about extermination. And they don't even have remorse or feel like it's wrong because of their fucking religion. We're like, well, God said I can. This is our land from thousands of years ago. It's in my storybook with the talking donkey and the guy that lived inside a whale. This is absolute history. And that's what they think. I mean, that gives them some moral loophole where you can just burn a baby. It's fine. That's Israel. Judaism says it's okay, so they get to just kill everybody there. There's a lot of fucking retard Christian evangels that believe the same thing. They're like, it's in the Bible. You're just allowed to murder. Well, yeah, but the Bible's wrong. Like, the Old Testament is disgusting. Can't say that. Where did it says that it's right. And murdering and all that's good. And if you don't believe in it, you go to hell. Fucking, they are hell. You are the demons. What part of love thy neighbor as thyself is so confusing? Like, I don't think murdering your neighbor is loving your neighbor. I think that's hating your neighbor. They probably hate themselves too, but they're just shooting kids. Every day, I'm sad to say. I mean, that's what happened in Gaza today. Well, the Israelis opened fire on a bunch of families living in tents. Crushed in rubble, burned them alive. Shot people, just shot the rescue workers, shot the aid workers, blew up the food trucks, or wouldn't let them in at all. And it's not just the army, it's like Israeli citizens doing it too. They'll go block the roads and they won't let the food in. And for some reason, they couldn't parachute it in. Remember how bad the U.S. messed that up? It's odd, because they could do it in Afghanistan, but they can't do it in Gaza. Must be windy. Maybe that's what it is. They're not even trying. And then they're them, again, trying to drag the United States into a war with Iran. Hooray. Here we got Denver. Go ahead, man. Or ma'am, or whoever. You gotta hit the button in the middle.
My bad, sorry. Good morning, by the way. But just wanted a quick question, a couple questions. Did you, by chance, can you give us any Easter eggs on the Massachusetts ring that you've been uncovering? Is it related to Wexner or Epstein or Nygaard or anything else? And then also, what are your thoughts on Piers seeming to do a 180 on the Israel-Palestine conflict?
Yeah. Okay. So the first question, it was kind of two parallel things that started merging together. I don't know how much. I mean, I don't know how much you follow what I say or whatever, but there's this Lee brothel case where, yeah, I just call it that because three of the people involved, their last name was Lee. They weren't even related, but that's how it is. And one of them is out of Cambridge, Massachusetts, not the British Cambridge yellow. And one in front of it's in Nova, but that's for DC, obviously, and they seemingly have one in LA. But the East Coast stuff, I was looking at the Lee brothels and I was looking at the clients, and they only released 31 names out of 2,800, and they have them because they got their cell phones and they have all the booking and everything that they have running these websites for like nude models. Like, oh yeah, they're gonna get nude in your house. Reminds me of Aqua Teen Hunger Force with Carl. Like, oh yeah, this is what I want. You get naked in my house. It was definitely a prostitution ring, high end. You're talking $600 an hour type of stuff. Some like it was run by Koreans, as a bunch of Chinese girls, whatever, and they were hitting high roller clientele. And I've been looking into Cambridge for something else for Epstein anyway, because I was just wondering who's his replacement. Maxwell is up there in the Northeast, still networking with other people. So I had been following her husband around and seeing who he contacted and all. And when there was an overlap with this client list, as small as it is, it had overlap. I started looking into who I think has taken over for Epstein, doing the same thing, spying on science and technology and all the shit he was supposed to be doing without dipping into their own stash. But when I am confident I have enough evidence to say something like that about somebody as wealthy as this person, then I will. But until such time, I'm still in the gathering evidence phase.
And these women are of age, right? I remember you saying that in a few spaces.
The Lee brothel thing is the new Epstein. It's both. It's the same as before.
Gotcha. Okay. And then the Pierce or the Pierce 180 on
Oh yeah.
Talisman.
So I've actually listened to Pierce. I've seen the titles and all, but I think like, goddamn, dude, like I suspected the whole time that Pierce, he knows what side his bread is buttered on, and he would grift and do the pro-Israel shit because that's how you get money. But he's basically on YouTube now, but here's what I thought: like he would have like Norman Finkelstein on, and then like Rabbi Shmuley. So like one of the best anti-Zionists and one of the goofiest clownish stuff, fucking retarded Zionists you could find, and he'd do stuff like that. And the fact that Pierce would have on, he had some like weirdos on too, but he brought on Scott Horton. He brought on like legitimate journalists, which you don't ever see on network TV. He had some kooks on in the beginning. I don't think he knew who to get on or not, but right. Somehow Finkelstein got on the list. Scott Horton got on the list. He's had on Jeffrey Sachs. Like, the closer you get to that Judge Napolitano script, that kind of clientele, for lack of a better word, then the better you're going to do. I could recommend some even better than what he hasn't had Grant F. Smith yet. There's some people that could really dominate on that, but he's still got A+. He hasn't got the S tier, but he's hit some A+ guests, which you would never see. But then I'm thinking, well, who on the Zionist side is the equivalent? Like, there is no one. They're all retarded because it's a completely indefensible position. You can't be like, hey, bomb families. Like, there's no sophistry in the world that can cover that. You know what I mean? If you debate it at all, you lose. The only way they ever win is just they're the only ones that are ever allowed to talk, and they censor the other side. Pierce will actually have guests on who can debate stuff. And any time there's even remotely an even playing field, of course the anti-Zionist side wins. Because it's such an easy argument to make. Stop shooting babies. No one was raped on October 7th. Quit lying. Like, it's such an easy thing. You were killing them before October 7th. You're killing them in the West Bank, and there is no Hamas in the West Bank. It's such an easy layup. The only people that can fuck that up are the pro-Nazi crowd or whatever. Because I mean, that is the only way you could lose to Zionists is by trying to argue, that Hitler wasn't so bad or something. Like, shut up. Why are you shooting from half court when you could have a layup? Like, leave the fucking Nazi shit out of it. But I think when he had enough guests on, he's had on like Bassem Youssef and some others that been telling the truth, and so he's heard enough, and he's realized, the Israeli response is total overkill. Possibly they planned it like this the whole time. Because Pierce is not, he's not like intelligent, but he's not dumb. This is not an issue that requires in-depth, geopolitical and historical background. You don't need, it's super simple. Israel is just murdering civilians left and right. They have sniper, shots in the skulls of people's heads. They're killing the aid workers. They bombing hospitals. They bomb churches, mosques, schools. Full-on fucking war crimes, every one you can think of. And it's the question I always start with. I'm like, what is it that they'd have to do that would be considered a war crime? Is there anything they could do that would be considered a war crime? Because if you frame it like that, there is no answer. You either admit they committed war crimes or you name something that would be a war crime, but I challenge you to think of something that they haven't done that is a war crime. They've done them all. Nuking them, I guess, the only thing left.
My
So I think
my other favorite one
I think
is
it was untenable for him to continue to shill for Israel. I mean, he's just getting raped on Twitter for it too.
yes, I agree with that as well. My other one that I love that when you
He
say is
still
carpet
blocked
bombing
me.
apartments.
He still blocked me, bastard.
He's too
He
scared.
blocked me,
He's
even,
scared
and
of the
I can't
truth.
stand him. I can't stand him when he was apologizing for Israel because I know he knows better. He's just a coward. He's like, I have to say this. He's so used to network TV. Like, this is the only way he can get ahead is to kiss Israel's ass. But things are changing. Israel's painted itself in a corner, and it's horrible. It is horrible every day to see what they've done and are doing in Palestine, especially Gaza. And let's not forget, they killed a lot of civilians in Lebanon, too. And they, indirectly have killed a bunch of civilians in Yemen by getting the UK and the US to bomb them on their behalf. But they have permanently destroyed relationships with any country whose media they don't own. They're getting Ireland and Spain to basically just give them a middle finger. We're not going to trade with you, period. They don't have the means to take on Iran, and they know it. Trump did make a deal with Yemen that did not include the Israelis. They didn't like that. So even their grip on America is slipping a little bit. Not enough. He's still a fucking Zionist shill, but they're so used to 10 out of 10, and now they have like 9.5 out of 10 with America. But you look outside the U.S., they've blown it. They've destroyed all their relations with everyone else. Al-Qaeda in Syria might be their buds. That's about it. Jelani. He's their only ally outside the United States.
What is the discourse? I know you have some connections in Israel. Do you know what the discourse is so far between like the people there, the civilians? I know they're all for gang raping Palestinians and yada yada yada. But like I know before you had said that there was a big disagreement. There's a big rift between the country. I just didn't know if maybe you had any more info on that as well.
Well, okay, but it's not about, they don't care about killing Palestinians. They're like, go for it. They're just mad over the hostage shit. They're like, we just do a hostage exchange and then go grab the hostages again. Like, that's the typical thing they would do is like do an exchange, get all your people back, and once you have all your people back, just go arrest another 1,000 Palestinians. Like, and then you still have hostages and they don't. But Netanyahu needs some hostages there so he can point to it and be like, well, Hamas hasn't released them. But you can go back to November of 2023 where they did do an exchange. And how did they get the hostages back? Well, they released their Palestinian hostages and the Palestinians released the Israeli hostages. It was that simple. And he could easily do that again, but he isn't. They don't like that. Travel to Israel has basically come to a screeching halt. I know someone that's been trying to get there for months can't because Yemen keeps firing missiles at Ben Gurion Airport and all the airports are shutting down. Eilat port's shut down. They're going to target Haifa, I hope, because that's all they got left, really, for sea trade. Uh, and Israelis are mad because they were really mad back when there was a war with Lebanon because all the people in the north were reachable. And so they all squished into the middle of the country. At that time, Hamas hadn't run out of rockets, so they were still firing from the south as well. So they're all in the middle of Israel and staying in hotels and like doing their laundry in the fucking hallway. They're so inconsiderate to each other. You know, you get enough of them in one place, they start to eat each other. That's when Rabbi Shmuley was like, I'm in a towel running. Oh my God, there's alarm bells. Dramatic fucking performance victimhood stuff. But they're starting to move back in the north because Israel signed a treaty with, or not a treaty, but they made a deal with Hezbollah the day after. Of course, ISIS invades Syria, and they have annexed that territory too. So a lot of the internal struggle, that pressure was relieved once the war with Hezbollah ended. When they were trying to fight them both, it was too much. But the pressure from Yemen is mounting on them because people can't leave, people can't come. And it's embarrassing that they can shoot a solo missile and get through all these major, super expensive defense shields and hit them anyway. It doesn't do much. You know, if you don't like hit a helicopter, it's the same with any kind of weapon. Like if you fire a bullet into the ground, it's not very impressive. It's like, oh, look, there's a little 2-inch hole. Whoopie doo dah. But if you hit a person with it, they're dead. And a lot of these rockets and stuff, if it just hits the dirt, just kind of makes like a 1.5 wide hole. It's not impressive. But if you hit a helicopter, it would have blown it the fuck up. Or if you hit a fighter jet, it would have destroyed it. But if you just hit the runway, it's like, oh, you made a little tiny crater. So, you know, sometimes you look at these things, they're not impressive, but it would have been depending on what it landed on. But the thing is, you don't have to hit anything on an airport. You just have to hit the airport anywhere. It could land in a damn field and do no damage. You can't fly any planes just in case. Because if they can reach you, you got to ground everything. And it's cost them billions of dollars. Now, of course, the U.S. is actually paying for that. Israel never pays for anything itself. But it is doing damage and inconvenient to their life. Lowers their comfort level and everything. They brought this on themselves because they could end this anytime. They could have a truce anytime they want. They're the aggressor. They're the genocidal maniacs. But the majority of Israelis totally buy into the Hasbara. They think they can destroy Iran. They think Iran has no air defense, that they all took it out last time, which is an absolute lie. This is what they believe. Like, we need to go out there and take out their nuclear facilities because they got nuclear bomb, blah, 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 blah. Did you see Netanyahu threatening the Samson option? I mean, the
Yes,
guy, he needs a bullet right in his big forehead.
well, I've always found that very funny how they have the Samson option, but then we all as Americans don't think that they have nukes. But yet, isn't if that's an option in the first place, doesn't that self admit to them having nukes?
Only in the logic of government can you have something like nuclear ambiguity, where we fucking all know you have nukes, but we're going to pretend like we don't know that you have
Right.
nukes. Because we don't want to pressure you. Well, why don't they have to sign the non-proliferation treaty? Because they're Israel, that's why.
One final question, and then I'll let you go. I just haven't heard you discuss about it, and I know you probably have, but just haven't heard it. What is your thoughts on the Uyghurs in China?
You know how much I hate China and I hate the people that's, are like China dick suckers and stuff. But that thing is overblown. It is not comparable to like actual ethnic cleansing or anything. Like, and a lot of Uyghurs are low class and they steal and they act like buffoons, and that's China clamps down on them the way they would to themselves if they acted the same way.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for your help, and thank you for all your research, and congratulations to your brother on his Croatoan discovery, I should say, for
Yeah, well, like proving it to
Hatteras
everyone else.
Island.
I'm going to get him on as soon as I can. That just should have been bigger news than it was.
Thank you again, Ryan. Have a great rest of your day.
You have a good day. It's like
And
midnight
remember,
here.
everybody, stop fucking killing kids.
and sign up to Substack. It's ryandawson.org. If I don't plug it, who else is, you know? I just put up the yesterday's walk and talk on there, so if you missed it, it was a bunch of stuff. It was like Gaza food, possible future of the Iran deal. I explained what happened between India and Pakistan. There was a long talk about esoteric stuff and what Yahweh is and where he came from and the roots of Judaism, how fucking disgusting it is. And we got into like the effects of porn on the family and all kinds of stuff. It was like 2 hours long. Anyway, it's up on Substack right now. And there'll be another one tomorrow. I've got like several notebook pages on the origins of Yahweh, not an ad lib thing, like more of a purposeful, well thought out thing that I'm gonna look at and then do a speech on it. So I would just read it, but with my eyes, it doesn't work anymore. Never know when the words are gonna start curving. Way better than a couple months ago, though. So I got WMDs for wet macular degeneration, WMD. So does Dan McAdams. Gonna bring him on too sometime this week. And then Jake Shields picked the only day I couldn't, so I'm going out with a bunch of Korean and Japanese supermodels at a modeling shoot thing to do the entire calendar for next year. I know, sounds like hell, right? But I'm like, nah, I'm not missing this day. Any other day. It's already booked. But I'll be going back on his show, and I think we'll be talking about some of the other new Epsteins, getting into Mike Jeffries, getting into maybe the Lee brothels, and also the Canadian high school rapist, Robert Miller. These fun stuff, Ray. Things that ought to have attention and don't. Everything's Diddy. Like, fuck Diddy. He's already in jail. I don't know what you want. He already paid out $20 million. The hotel paid out $10 million. They're coming for more. To quote Andrew Tate, it's oversexed nigger shit. I'm like, yep, pretty much. But a lot of these people were at these after parties from the white parties and freak offs and things, and this is what rich people do. They buy escorts, which is code for prostitution, and they have sex parties, orgies and fantasies and eyes wide shut kind of stuff. I don't care about adults having kinky sex with each other at all. It's what he did where he crossed the line is he drugged people against their will. And it's very hard for them to prove because they all willingly also do drugs recreationally. So it's like, but you are a drug user. Yeah. It's all trash, man. It doesn't matter. And I learned this the first time I was in Marina Del Rey with actual multimillionaires and billionaires. And it was just like white trash with money. I've seen white trash without money, and I've seen white trash with money. There's no class. They just have stuff. But they're just as immature and fucking petty and egotistical and fighting with each other. And it's just trailer park boys wherever you go. And the only thing that, like, if you took, their inheritance away or whatever, then they'd be right there in the trailer with Billy Bob or whatever. I'm going to have Scott on the show about his discoveries and all, and we'll probably do some Civil War, pirates and Indians stuff, one of those, but what would you want me to cover? Are people still on to what's going on in Ukraine? I'm following it, but I feel like people are like, what? Until some major city falls, they don't care.
I actually am from the Ukraine. My family's from the Ukraine, so that's kind of fascinating to me. So I'd love to hear that, but I'm not the only person listening. So
Hey, I mean, it's interesting to me too. It's a major war. Hundreds of thousands of people are dead. Our president is supposedly trying to put an end to it, though he's not doing any of the conditions that would actually lead to that. So how serious are they? And Zelensky doesn't care. And Putin doesn't care because he's winning, so what? Why does he need to change anything? It's sad.
is it true? Is it true that we gave them the okay to be able to shoot far, or Ukraine the okay to be able to shoot artillery further into Russia? Because that would make
Yeah,
sense why like Putin is escalating.
it's worse than that because they don't have that capacity without using our satellite data, which they don't have access. They don't have satellites, so that means, well, it could also be France or the UK, but it ain't. It's us. We are sharing. We're coordinating those attacks with our eye in the sky, and gave them all the different things to attack them, Storm Shadow, all that stuff, and he knows it. And they tried to kill him with drones in Kursk, and I'm like, if you're the president of the state you're at war with, like, you're a legitimate target. If you come into the war zone, like, of course they're going to try and kill you. However, if you are, at the tail end of a war and you're running out of men and you're getting your ass kicked and the other side's president is in his country, like you invaded them in the Kursk situation, you might want to not attempt that, because if you fail, which they did, he's not going to have any restraint sending missiles straight into Kiev. They were worried about NATO. They were never worried about Ukraine. And even with the combined with all the Polish mercenaries and things, like, they're out of men. And a lot of their allies, they'll give them guns and money, but they're not going to give them bodies. The public won't stomach that. You got a whole generation of Ukrainian men just been fucking wiped out. Like, the ones who left were smart. Because you're not defending Ukraine. First of all, you were attacking the other half of your own country. Like, the people in the Donetsk and Luhansk and Zaporozhye and Kherson are also Ukrainian. And they've been attacking them since 2014. That's a civil war. Because they elected a president. You said we don't care. Zelensky broke the Minsk II Accords, firing artillery into an elementary school. That's how they decided to do that. And now you're in the find out part. But you're not helping your country. You're helping a bunch of oligarchs that took over your country. So tell them to fight their own fucking war. If part of it goes to Russia, whatever, they already tried to secede from you anyway. The East Ukraine was Russian all the way until 1954. And Crimea was till 54. East Ukraine till 52, whatever. They speak Russian. It was not that big a difference in languages anyway, but it's a little bit. And they don't want to be part of you. So it's gone anyway. They're not trying to take the rest of Ukraine. They're trying to take those 4 oblasts. I say let them secede, man. They voted, they left. They've been fighting you for 3 years. It's never coming together. Take the L. Not worth dying. You know,
Ryan,
if New Jersey broke away, I'd say goodbye.
is Trump still threatening to attack Iran's nuclear facilities, or will he make a peace deal? Even though Israel wants to blow them up.
Well, that's the thing. Trump's whoever he last talked to. Steve Witkoff is an agent of Israel. He's not giving him any real intel. He went and talked to Iran. You know, he did make that deal with Yemen, and he's saying, look, lowered to 3.6%, super reasonable. Iran agreed, and Israel said, no, it has to be 0. That's just not happening. They're not going to do that.
Even if Trump like caught one of the Israeli spies, like, will he tell Israel, you know what, fuck you guys, we're breaking trust here? Are they still gonna like go along with their plan, or what?
Well, he caught Mark Waltz, and he didn't even fire him. He just demoted him down to Rubio.
Oh wow. Okay. So he's still there. Fine.
I don't know. Working for Marco Rubio might be a punishment worse than death.
Oh.
It doesn't matter. Like, his whole cabinet's a bunch of Christian Zionists, with the exception of Tulsi and Kennedy. And Kennedy's completely compromised. And I don't know what happened to Tulsi, but she's turned on everyone too.
Hey, is
He
Lindsey
did
Graham
try
still a
to
shot
hire
caller for
Daniel
Ukraine?
Davis. What's that?
Is
Say again.
is Lindsey Graham still a shot caller for Ukraine? Is he still demanding like more weapons to go there, or his roles has changed?
Gaylord Graham will always be for war against Russia, no matter who it is, whether it's Georgia, Ukraine, whatever. He doesn't care. That's his role. He is a senator. He does have some weight. I think he really hurt himself in his own state when houses were floating by from the hurricane, and he's up there saying they need money for Israel. I think that didn't sit well. I don't know how anyone listens to Lindsey Graham, but there are people who do. And he's got seniority, and he's got weight. He should just stay in his closet. But yeah, Lindsey Graham is like John McCain's dead, Bolton's fired, so Lindsey's the last one standing. Who would have thunk? Because he's usually bending over.
Yeah.
I say a lot, but that guy's queer as a football bat.
Right. And he's so deep in the closet you can see Narnia.
Yeah, in the rearview mirror. He's so far in the closet, James Webb couldn't find him.
That's really funny.
Guy's Gary in a cock-flavored lollipop. I can see him with his short shorts and an oversized lollipop and one of those like little spinner beanies on his head. We like
Oh, God.
lotion. We need lotion.
That would
That
be a
dude
good
is
comic.
Guy's got a glory hole in his own private bathroom.
APAC politician, glory hole.
What a cum dumpster. He is. I mean, he's right there with Nikki Haley, doing bakake in the Knesset. There was an SNL skit where like, who will suck Israel's dick? And they're like, and Lindsey Graham's like, I will. To whoever the character was, like, no, I'll do
Oh
it.
shit, they
I'll
did.
pick him.
That's
Well, they
funny.
never aired it. It's like online, but they had to pull it. They had to pull it, and they're all like,
Okay.
"Well, I'll do it." No, I'm doing it. Like, they know. They all know who calls the shots.
Yeah.
You can see it too. Is like all
Well,
these
I was looking
celebrities that
fine.
get canceled. I saw Dan Bilzerian lost like 800 million. It's like $1 billion. $800 million. Ignite, they won't even let him use his own like face and name because he could just brand something else. He is the brand. He could go start a vape thing or whatever it is, just call it another thing. And nope, Canada's communist. And they're like, you can't even, you don't have access to your own name and face. We don't want you competing with us. Like, well, you say he's not a value to the company because of his political beliefs or whatever, but you also don't want him to compete with the company. If he has no value, then what's the threat of competition? Because obviously other people don't care what he said politically. They like him, they like his honesty, they like his brand, they like what he says, and they will follow him, whatever he's selling. You just don't like what he said. It does not hurt the company. That is bullshit. You just want to punish him for saying things that you don't like about Israel. My favorite Bilzerian quote is when he says they can be offended. Let him. He said it to Pierce. And I hope Pierce will have him back on now that Pierce has had his little epiphany that, wow, shooting babies is wrong after all. That maybe he should have some of these people on that he chastised. Like, I can't believe that. That sounds anti-Semitic. Like, shut the fuck up. It's not anti-Semitic. Israel is not an ethnic group. It's a country. If I want to criticize North Korea, don't come at me and say I'm anti-Korean. I live in South Korea. It's a country. And Israel's a country. And states do fucked up things. Don't blame that on the racial components of the people that live in the state. It's not about the fucking DNA. That's not how we got here. We got here by decisions that people made. Politicians who wanted power and territory. And they have a fucked up religion that drives it. He had no response when Dan was like, I don't like a religion that's got Christ boiling in excrement and semen. I think he said piss and shit, but it's not piss. It's semen and excrement.
You need to get
That's
on
what
his
I think of
show,
Jesus, huh?
Piers Morgan's show. It would be
They'd
great.
never. Oh, I know.
They have to, dude. They had Myron on. They had fucking Myron. I forgot what segment. I think it was like about like.
No offense to him, but do you think Myron knows a fifth of what I know about Israel and all these other things?
Of course he does.
No.
Because of you.
That's
he
why,
has
like,
some idea.
They'll have people on that aren't really a threat relative to myself. But I was shocked that he had on Horton and he had on Finkelstein because I consider them A tier. Like, that's people I'd recommend.
Dude, he had on Tim Dillon talking about the whole conflict.
Dillon doesn't know shit, dude. That guy's he didn't know crap. Get
I remember he tried to
Nora
get you on
Earhart,
before.
Get Gideon Levy, get Grant F. Smith. That'd be the best. All those people that go into those anti-APAC conferences, that's who you want. I don't know if he knows those people. I don't know. But
that would be great. You can get an interview with Thomas Massey. That'd be awesome.
Would be. I don't see that happening. Because if you're Massey, you have so much risk to lose and not much to gain from that.
He needs support. I think he needs a lot of support, and if you can help him, because Trump is trying to get rid of him.
But I think that people who live and can vote in Kentucky are the ones he needs.
Yeah,
I support him anyway. I don't need an interview. I'm always going to support Massey because I agree with him. He's already got my support.
But also, like through Twitter and everything, I think he's fighting for something that a lot of people want to fight for. But
yeah, the entire anti-Zionist movement needs to have Massey's back. Because if he's ever outed, it's going to be from UDP and AIPAC trying to push him out. He's all we got left, really. Him and Rand Paul.
That is just way too big to chew. It's way too big. I mean, Massey can't do this by himself at all. No way.
He's not alone, but I think Pierce Morgan, honestly, he's one of the only shows that would have our side, for lack of a better term, represented at all. And we can complain and be like, well, you should have had this person, you should have had that person. But he's
Oh
had
yeah,
some, you know.
that's what he wants. He wants the clash of two different minds clashing in his show. That's why he calls it the censor, I guess.
I think he was naive enough to think the Israeli side would do a lot better than it has. It's like
Yeah,
they lose every time.
I know. And then I bet they're telling you, stop having these fucking anti-Zionists on, please.
The only, I swear, the only way he could like get them to win is to have some Nazi kook on. That's the only way that Israel can win.
Yeah. Just kookify it.
Yep, kooks.
Jesus.
Or some Alex Jones type that's like, this isn't even real. Of course,
Yeah, is he still being a fucking kook?
dude. Alex said to Moab, Gaza, inch by inch, and rose. He fucking ate it on that. He did not. Alex usually is a pretty good judge of which way the wind's blowing, and he's always just like side with Israel. He fucked up on this one. Moab means the mother of all bombs. It's the biggest non-nuclear bomb you can use. And he said, just get everybody out of there and just Moab in rows, inch by inch. That's the only way to do this. That's what he said.
Disgusting.
He is disgusting, dude. Guy's the griftomania. Because he's another guy that you know knows better. He's not retarded. He pretends to be retarded.
Right.
I'm not a retard. I just play one on TV. Humble choice, excuse me.
Yeah.
He just acts like... There were times where he just started acting like a monkey, saying ooh, ooh, ah, ah, and stuff.
Right.
Never gonna get... You're just spinning your wheels with Alex Jones. He's the granddaddy of kook theory. Everything from Epstein to 9/11, like everything I'm passionate about, I have to deal with his cult. It's not the anti-conspiracy people that are the problem. It's the conspiracy not enougher people that are a problem. It's not crazy enough. They got to add a bunch of stuff. I'm like, this, you're going to lose everybody. Doing none of what you think is true, and you sound like a fucking moron with your airplane denial and stuff. Like you had people, everyone doubted the government story and they ready to listen, and then you came out and said Building 7 didn't kill itself or whatever. Well, no building never fell from fire. I'm like, besides Building 6 and 5 on the same day? I mean, yeah, it wasn't hit by a plane. It was hit by another building. You have to acknowledge that. Even if you think, in addition to that, these other things happen, you have to acknowledge the truth. You cannot oversell stuff because they're going to look it up and know it's not true. It's just like the 271ers. They're like, the Red Cross said only this many people died in the Holocaust. I'm like, the Red Cross didn't have access to any of the camps in Poland. They're like, well, Auschwitz is on there. Like, yeah, they went to one of the 38 camps in Auschwitz. One. And they knew that they were being led around by the nose and being given a show camp. And that doesn't mean 6 million, but it's just like you're making a bad argument with this 271,000. I saw a piece of paper, said Red Cross and blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, yeah, really? Were year was that? Were there no deaths after that? And it's so easy to debunk. They don't think it through. And what's happening is you're just getting more history. It's like being taken over by memes. And the one that pisses me off the most is when like, Lincoln was against the central banks. He made the greenback, blah, 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 because it's in Money Masters. And I really like Bill Still. He's so fucking wrong on Lincoln. Like, Lincoln paid for the war with war bonds. I'm not going to go on the big-ass speech right now, but greenback was useless. And he was pro-bank. He was pro-central bank. Who do you think he sold the bonds to? Foreigners. 40% of his army was mercenaries from abroad. He was a monster. He confiscated gold from the South. That's how Grant paid off the war bonds. Stole the fungible cotton and all the rest of it. Fuck Lincoln. And they'll say the same thing about Kennedy. And I know, and have explained a million times why he was killed going after Israel's nuclear program and all that. But they're like, Executive Order 1110, blah, 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 anti-Fed, blah, blah, blah. That's not true. All that order did was limit who could issue silver certificates. Kennedy was pro-Fed. It actually increased the Fed's power. And guess what? LBJ did not overturn that order. It stayed on the books until the 80s when it was made obsolete. So it's like, if you're going to kill them over that, then wouldn't you get rid of the order? But they never did because it wasn't a problem. But Alex Jones went out and said that Kennedy was killed over Executive Order 1110. I'm like, no, motherfucker, he was killed over Israel's nuclear program. They celebrated it. Then they killed his brother. That's got to be the next film I do. Is JFK, because no one's gotten it right. Do a little
Dude, I
teaser with
can't wait.
Numek.
Yeah.
Do a little teaser with Numek. This fucking Empire and Mass, they just solid. I might have to like go into hiding because they're gonna shoot me after this one.
Oh shit! When's it coming out?
I'm guessing like 3 or 4 months it'll be ready.
Fuck yeah! I can't wait, man.
Depends. We're gonna get Varg to get on it like Stone Cold Steve Autism on starting June 1st, doing visuals.
Sweet.
I just finished the art student stuff today. Like, I have the old Empire and Mass, but they didn't have a lot on art students back then. They do now, and boy, it really makes a whole picture. Like, when you see this film the way I've laid it out, there's fucking no question. And I was decided today, like, I'm not gonna have anti-kook stuff. I'm not gonna say why this dumb thing is wrong. I'm just gonna leave it out. But I am gonna make a separate edition about the Pentagon and all that other stuff, just to fucking like, okay, hey, kook, here's what you're gonna say, because it's not even your own words,
The
and here's the
Q&A
rebuttal.
shit. Right.
Yeah, because if I put it in there, they're only gonna focus on that and nothing I just said. Like, I could talk for an hour about the Saudi role in 9/11 and all that, and truck bombs and da 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 da, and they'd just be like, yeah, but thermite. Like, yeah. Someone shoot this person. I really hate him. I hate him. But every single fucking retarded thing about 9/11, no one would have ever heard of it if it wasn't for Alex Jones. Every stupid fucking idiot, from Jim Fetzer to whatever to fucking Judy Wood, or like Loose Change, they all came out of Alex Jones. And he knows that it's bullshit. And he promoted it anyway, because you get views and you sell your Berkeys and your Tangy Tangerine or whatever.
I'm surprised you're not talking about the JFK trial that's going on now. Finally, we have people talking about what really happened.
Well, yeah, he's not gonna. And RFK either. I mean, those files got released. The first fucking page says 13 shots. The first page of the RFK files. Like, so I know nobody read them. Because you don't have to read but a couple paragraphs till you get to that big whammy. They didn't even open the file. You've been waiting how many years, you claim? And I read it and I'm like, this is all shit I've already said. But now it's in these files. I did talk with Patrick, one with Jake, one with Larry Johnson, and one with Myron on RFK. And I'm like, look, this is RFK. It's, I explain who did it and how you know. As far as Thane's backers, that's more complicated, and that's my next film, is to explain RFK, like what went down. Because you almost need like a class on organized crime. I could explain it very quickly to someone who already knows these people. They know who John Alessio is. They know who Mickey Cohen is. They know all that stuff. But if you don't, and most people don't, why would they? Then you got to tackle that first. So that's the next one. And then I don't have to do it again for JFK, because there's a lot of overlap. I don't know if people still care, though. They know they're supposed to, but I don't think they genuinely do. I think the people who were alive when it happened care. But they just like conspiracies. I don't think they cared about Epstein. They just wanted Tom Hanks and like certain names to be on the list that aren't, because they got all wrapped up in that QAnon crap. Is it Leonardo DiCaprio? No, it's not. He's not there. Stephen Hawking's not there either. And I blame all these goddamn, it's mostly British yellow journalist outlets that in the title would say a bunch of celebrity names: Stephen Hawking, Cameron Diaz, DiCaprio, in the files. Yeah, their name came up somewhere in these thousands of pages, and it's stuff like, did you ever see Cameron Diaz at any of these dinners? No. How about you? No. You? No. So every victim said no. But because the guy said her name in the question, her name is in the file. Her name's not in the file because someone said she was there raping kids or anything. It's just something that they got asked about, and every single one of them said, nope, never saw her. And Steve Hawkins is just a reference that it's an email between Maxwell and Epstein. And he made a joke like, what's next? They're going to say we had an orgy with Stephen Hawkins. And the reason that's funny is because he had ALS and couldn't move and lived in a chair. He couldn't have an orgy. That's all that was. They're like, Hawkins was at the island. He liked to watch. Blah, blah, blah. And they're just trashing the scientists. They did all that work on black hole radiation, blah, blah, blah. Now, half the fucking planet thinks he's some Epstein pervert. Because these lazy ass, mostly UK journalists put his name in the title of something to do with Epstein, knowing most people don't read the goddamn article and get the context. They just see it and go, oh, he's one of them. That's a name I know, and then run with it. And that's why I'm like, should I do a Kennedy movie or not? Like, people don't really care. They only care about celebrities. That's why this Diddy thing is like a new drug for them. Because it's all people they know. Oh my God, do you see this? Do you see what they did? Brrr. I thought they were going to lose it when Diddy and one of the escorts pissed in Cassie's mouth until she choked. Because that's disgusting. What? Okay. Who cares? Like, all she has to do is shut her mouth. Or turn her head. Like, she was into it. Sick freak. And, she'll say, here I am getting sucked into it. I had people ask me about it, so I looked at it. She'll say, like, how she's forced to do it, this and that. But then you have emails of her looking forward to the next one. When's the next freak off? Can't wait. Blah, blah, blah. So which is it, bitch? I don't care who wins, because that means somebody loses, and they're all guilty. It's just like, okay, prostitution's illegal, but escorts are not. Well, what's an escort? Oh, it's just someone you pay to go on a date with you, but there's no sex. Okay, but what if there is? Oh, we didn't pay for the sex. I paid for the date. They just happen to also want to have sex. And Jay-Z and all these celebrities like, oh, you wanna go to the Super Bowl after party? Suck 30 dicks. That's how you earn your ticket. And these people do it. Because they want to meet celebrities. Because they want to be around rich people, because that's their meal ticket. They don't want to have a job. They just want to do a blow job. It's a lot easier. And no one wants to admit this, like, horrible thing. Like, dude, the women and all, they're just as bad. There's a lot of skanks. And they enable it. And I think these people are around whores so often, where they just go rent people off Instagram or whatever, that they start to not be able to tell the difference between a well-grounded, quote-unquote, normal woman and a slut. They just start treating everybody like a slut because to them, everyone's got a price. If you got enough money, everybody's a hoe. Like, yeah, if the way you're finding people is through fucking Insta whore, you would think that. If your view of women is based off the fucking trashy ass women in Miami clubs or something, it's gonna be pretty damn low. But I don't think you could find a dumber caliber of people. You would. They're female, but that's not a fucking fair representative sample of women in general. You went to the lowest, dumbest area possible and gathered those people. And the flip side, don't look at these gangster rappers, even if they have money. These closet homosexual guys that are all sucking each other off and sucking off executives and stuff. That's how they got their position.
Yeah,
Those
who cares
aren't.
about that shit?
Yeah, fuck them, dude. They're not like representing blacks or anything either, or musicians. This is just trash. It's
Yeah, we already
organized
know
trash.
these. Yeah, it's dumb nigger shit, really. But
It is.
speaking
It's
of
oversex
that,
dumb nigger
what's
shit. I
going
love
on
that
with
term.
what's going on with the trial of Somali or whatever his name is?
Oh fuck yeah, fuck him.
I
So
can't wait.
thanks, Rat. Dude, so August 13th is the next one.
Sweet.
If I'm here, I'll definitely go to it. I went to the last one. He got triggered. Him and Hank got triggered by me being there.
How the
started
fuck did he
arguing
know
things.
you? He was just like, I know your name. You're Ryan Dawson. Like,
Yeah.
so?
I don't know how he knew me. I guess he saw me on the Tates. Because he said something about that on the stairwell. I saw you talking shit on the Tates. I couldn't understand him because that stairwell is all like echoey.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure what he said. I didn't know what to say back. I say he's saying something. And he's kind of hard to understand because he's like low education fucking retard.
Right.
But yeah, I think he saw me on the Tates. I'm like, okay. You're a piece of shit. I was like, you saw me in Japan too. You just can't remember it because you were eating concrete.
Oh shit.
My friend knocked him out, knocked his cameraman out too.
Oh right.
And I told you, I was like, if you come to Osaka, you're gonna get knocked the fuck out because you can't act like that there. It's not Tokyo. This like, oh yeah, you can fuck around in, I don't know,
And
Connecticut or
is he
something.
short?
Try that shit in Texas, you know. What's that?
Is he a short guy?
Is he short? Yeah, he's like 5'2" or something. He wears platforms also, so he's actually shorter than he looks because he's got these like, a lot of really short people do that. They have these shoes that with like heels on them. Yeah,
high heels. Wow, what a little fucking turd.
he
He's
might
gonna
be
get one
5'3". I don't know. So he's like a little fucking dude. He's got like, he looks like a duck.
Yeah, piece of shit.
Weird. I was like, is he handicapped? Oh no, he's just really short.
Yeah.
Fucking irredeemable, has no remorse. He did another deep fake video yesterday. I'm like, I called it. I'm like, he's gonna commit more crimes, trust me. Korea's been very smart about that. They're like, drag it out because this fucking guy has no self-control and he's gonna keep breaking the law and adding more and more time to going to jail. So what it is here's the update for anyone. This guy, total piece of shit. He was in Japan, like praising Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Fukushima, like just being an all-around piece of shit. He came to South Korea and like dry humped the comfort women's statues, took his shirt off and put baby oil on himself and all. Got like a dead fish in a wrapper and chased people with this really stinky fish around. He broadcast a message in Lotte World, which is like a kids theme park, about wanting to fuck children. He went into a 7-Eleven and started making, you can just make ramen in a 7-Eleven here. But he was playing really loud music and taking the noodles out of it and just throwing it around the store and dumped the bowl on the floor. Just, what else did he do? He announced a fake bomb attack on a bus. He prank called the police for $5. Yeah, usually he's playing loud music in restaurants and buses. He always is like blaring stuff on trains or public transit or whatever. And
Yeah, and because of him, like, did Japan make a bunch of signs not to be a fucking clown, not to disturb
well, yeah,
the
people
peace or
started
whatever it was?
copycatting him because Kick, the platform Kick, will pay you to be an ass clown. You can monetize like prank streaming. This guy Vitali would do that. And I thought he was redeeming himself because he did the catch a pedophile thing. Turned out it was fake. He had like his people he knew to pretend like they were the pedophile and he was going to bust them. Yeah, he didn't even do that either. Fucking fake, like, oh look, I'm doing something good for once. Like, nope, no, none of that was real either. Fucking faked it.
East and
What
West
a
are
piece of,
fucking fake.
I'm like, hey, wasn't that guy in a video like 7 videos ago? Do you know each other? I mean, they're so dumb. But he's in jail now because he fucked around in the Philippines. He stole like a mall cop's bike, took his hat, like just went behind the counter at McDonald's and made himself something and left. And just fucking, they're like, oh, I'm in Asia. They won't do anything because they're not used to it. They're like, they don't have monkeys in their street. And he's acting like a fucking zoo animal. So they put his ass in jail. They're like, yeah, you'll have a trial in about 2 or 3 years. And you act up about 24 years in jail. So, yeah, you're really going to get 24, 25 years in a Filipino prison with a bunch of Chinese people. 97-degree temperatures and stuff, Fahrenheit. Good luck. I don't think he'll make it. I'm predicting suicide. His drugs are wearing off. He won't be able to get steroids in there. He's going to wither away. He won't
How
even
many
be able
years
to
are we
talk to
talking?
people. 22, and plus another 2 or 3 before he even gets to trial.
All right.
You get 25, 26 years. Fuck him, dude. He's had umpteen chances. Like he was like a streaker at a soccer game in Europe. One of those things. He's done a bunch of dumb shit, and he's been harassing people for years. And he thought he'd come to Asia and do a Johnny Somali. And the Asians are tired of it. Like Japan put him in jail for like a month or something, but he lied. He like lied about his money, lied about, and like Japan's so racist. They're like, oh, he probably can't help it. That's just how they are. Like they're children. But he only stayed in jail for like a month. They let him out and they deported him. And then because he apologized and all that, and as soon as he got out of jail, he was like, I didn't mean my apology at all. Fuck them. Fuck these chinks. Blah blah blah. So
You would think he would stop after the beatdown, but he continues to be a fucking
yeah, he got
monkey.
knocked out. He got knocked out in Korea too, and then he got hit another time in Korea. If he goes outside for too long, someone will punch him. And he's made it to where they hate foreigners because of him, especially black foreigners. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna be like Somali?" Because they'll put up with you being loud, talking too much, or like breaking
Right.
rules that you're not aware of, or whatever. Stand
Rooting
on the
for
wrong
everyone.
side of the escalator, shit like that. Because foreigners do that, and it is on accident. But yeah, he purposely just tries to piss as many people off as he can. So that's why I went to his trial. Made sure he got mad. His buddy Hanky Poo, failed male prostitute that he lives with, got really mad in the courtroom because I had this piece of paper and I knew they were looking at it. I was taking notes, so I just wrote "You are gay" really big. I could see it. He started like shaking his legs and rolling his head around. I was like, oh, and then we got the steering. I was like, Johnny's not having any further comment. Blah blah blah. It was all fake because what happened was we were on the 4th floor, and so they went down to the 3rd floor, and when they're a little bit ahead of everyone else, he yells this as if there's a bunch of reporters down there, and he's like, "Get out of the way, no comment, no comment." But there's nobody there, and I've filmed it. I'm like, "Look, there's nobody here." He's yelling into the wind. He's wanted to
Yeah, he's
make
like,
it seem
piss
like
off.
he wanted everyone upstairs to think like when they went downstairs, there were a bunch of reporters that he had to tell to piss off and get out of the way and stuff. There was nobody there. Nobody fucking cared. Upstairs, there was like one Korean lady. They're like, why are all you foreign people here? Like, we all hate Somali, and we hope he goes to jail forever.
Right.
Yeah. They're like, are you supporting him? Like, no, he doesn't have any supporters.
Start picking cabbage.
I want him to the death penalty. Picking cotton's not even good enough. Just get rid of him.
Yeah. Let's make a
What he
good
did in
example out of
Japan
him.
is unforgivable. Like, I'm mad at what he did in Korea, but like the fucking Fukushima killed 20,000 people recently. And of course, Hiroshima and Nagasaki were worse, but like recently this happened. How fuck him, dude. I do not want to ruin Japan and Korea. Like, they're the last functional cultures left. And I don't want this dumb monkey shit coming over here. That's why when Vitaly got like 20 something years, like, glory. I hope he hangs himself. I hate nuisance streamers. Like, you should not get paid to go around acting like an asshole. And that's what they're doing. So, okay, so he got two obstruction of business that he already pled guilty to, and like 3 minor crimes act that he pled guilty to. He's got another obstruction of business that he like accidentally pled guilty to. He's like, oh no, oh, I didn't understand. I'm not guilty, which is fucking beautiful because he's definitely guilty. He's on fucking film doing everything he's ever done. And now he's pleading not guilty. Well, that's just going to make your sentence worse.
Yep.
Because if you just admitted it, he's like, oh no, I didn't admit that. And he also pled not guilty to the deep fakes, and he's got 2 of those. Deep fake in Korea is super serious. It's got a mandatory jail time. And so all that shit combined would have got him about 12 years, 5 to 12 years in jail. In every single case, it's in the like aggravated, like they, it's like aggravated assault. Is they have aggravated. You're like, is it intentional? Yeah. Did he show any remorse? No. Like, every box you could check is the worst.
What if his lawyer's
did
going to say, you know what? He's autistic. Just give him a break.
No. Okay, you want to go to Korean mental? He did it on purpose.
Yeah, of course.
He's a sociopath.
Yeah. But
So
his
is Hank.
lawyers are going to say something like this for sure. To
His
justify
lawyer,
his fucking nigga
lawyer
behavior.
single. Nah. Look, it's like, you did this before. You did this in Japan and you went to jail for it. This isn't your first time. It's your first offense here, but you already have a criminal record in other places.
Good. Yeah. Okay,
and for the exact same
he's
crap.
fucked.
And now you're coming in as a repeat offender because you already pled guilty to these 4 charges. And now you're being charged with the same exact shit again. Because, like, okay, look, you have all these obstruction of business charges. And you're so fucking
Right.
stupid, you pled not guilty to the last one. Which means now you have to go in and, like, somehow prove you're not guilty of that as a repeat offender because you are guilty of the first ones that you already admitted to. And then you're going to get proven guilty again because it's on tape as a repeat offender, and it's all in the aggravated category. Then you're going to get the deep fakes. And his stupid ass made another deep fake yesterday.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I'm like, put him in jail for decades. I told him, you're going to be in jail till you're 40.
Yeah.
Like,
I
your
remember
whole
you said that.
rest
Yeah.
of your life. Because he's like, what are you, like 40? I'm like, yeah, but I ain't going to jail. He's like, I ain't going to jail either. I said, you're going to be in jail until you're 40.
Yep.
Fucking, oh, what a put down. What are you, like 40? Yeah, what was
Yeah,
you fucking
like,
narrative
so
being
what?
born a different year? Like, that's not even that old. Like, I'm in better shape than you. Like,
Right.
short, ugly, and
Well,
smells.
I'm definitely gonna get the popcorn ready for August 13th. Is that right? That's the date.
Yeah, that's the day. I was surprised. Like, some people there knew who I was, and he knew who I was. I was like, I didn't even do much in Korea, but it was all foreigners, I guess. One Korean lady recognized me too. I was like, okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make some anti-Somali T-shirts with like him with like a cabbage hedge behind jail, and I'm just gonna give them away for free. Like, you hate this guy? Me too. He needs to be the example made for nuisance streamers and deep
Oh,
fakes.
yeah.
I
Yep.
think they got rid of that fucking kissing app in Korea too. That thing was all. I'm like, it's advertised all over TikTok. I'm like, you can't be fucking stupid. Do you not see room for abuse? Like, oh look, you and your ex can kiss in this photo. I'm like, that's not what anyone's gonna do with that. They're gonna find people they like and like force their likeness to kiss them. That's kind of rapey. You could like get a picture of someone's wife and be like, look, I'm kissing your wife. It's the fucking gross. It's AI shit. And the potential for humiliation and just perverted crap on AI is endless. And all these incels are going to be doing that. These hugging apps, kissing apps, there'll be fucking apps eventually, pasting someone's face on someone else's face, stuff like that. It's already happening. So I'm like, Korea, when someone does a deep fake and gets caught, you need to be like 28 years in jail. Boom. Just stay there until you're old and gray. That's the only way to end it, is to have such a severe punishment for it that it ain't worth risking. Or at least, they might do it to look at themselves, but they could never share it with anybody, because if they do, instant decades in jail. That's what has to happen. They're doing it to kids and stuff, man. They were sharing it on Telegram, getting pictures of people from high school and stuff.
Yep.
Gross. Yeah. Deep fakes, that kind of sexual deep fakes shit, needs to have severe punishment. I'm like, that ought to be considered sexual assault and rape. To take someone's likeness and like strip them naked and stuff. It's like, well, you can't tell the difference. It's as if you film somebody fucking or whatever. Because that's what AI can do.
Did you have a lot of friends coming over
AI
to
is
the trial?
going to open the door to extreme amounts of perverted crap.
Mm-hmm. Did a lot of his friends show up to his trial?
There were like maybe 18 people, gaijins,
What the
and then
fuck? Wow.
and there was probably 4 from Korean media or whatever. It's hard to know because some people were there there was some other people that got in trouble before him. One, this guy who had gotten in a fight and accidentally paralyzed somebody, and they're not sure if it'll be permanent or temporary. And he got 1 year and 6 months. And I don't think that's like, oh, you're out in 1 year and 6 months. It's like you have 1 year and 6 months minimal. And it was yet to be seen whether or not this damage is permanent or not. If it is, you're probably going to get another sentence. But at least he was hanging his head and remorseful. And it's not clear how much of that was his fault, if he was just in a fight and he won, or what happened. But because he's only 1 year and 6 months, so like, what did the other guy do to you? But
Wow.
at least he was shameful. The next guy, he was like, he was mentally handicapped, and it was sad, man. His mom was in there, and his mom was like crying, snot coming out of her nose, and it was bad, dude. It was hard to, and the retarded guy clearly did not know the severity of the situation or what was going on. He was like jerking the microphone off because it had this paper thing over it, and I was like, please don't laugh, please don't laugh, please don't laugh, because he was sitting there doing that. And it's kind of like, as he's leaving and he has no idea what's just happened, he like takes the little pin that's on a chain and puts it back in the hole, like respectfully and all. I'm like, dude, don't worry about the damn pin. Like, you got way bigger problems. But the judge was lenient on him because he was clearly mentally retarded. But the thing is, he's going to be separated from his mom. His mom is too little to... He's an adult. He's an adult retarded guy, and she's just cannot handle him, and he doesn't listen to her. And he's going to get taken away from her. And she was just like... She couldn't control herself. It was awful. I was like, God, this is awful. And I don't understand all of it, but I understood enough of it. It was bad. And then it was Somali. And he sat in the same chair as the retard, by the way. It's funny.
Right.
But all the foreigners were there just to see him get grilled. Like, everyone wants a guilty verdict, and everyone wants to see him go to jail. Now, August 13th, it's like 50-50 because that's going to be the big one. Because, again, Bon Bon, I don't know how much you know about this, but one of the girls he did a fake thing on will be there, calling witnesses, da-da-da. That's like the real trial part. But there might be another date after that where he can attempt to call any witnesses. I don't think he has anybody other than Hank. But he'll probably do it just to stay out of jail another month or two. But Yeah, I'm just waiting for him to go dung dung this many years in jail. Like, oh, hallelujah. He will not come out that door. Like, you're going in that door, and you're going to go out the door on the right, which means prison. You ain't coming out of this building. Like, say goodbye to the sky. You're not going to see that unless you're picking cabbages.
Right. Yep.
That's what he needs. Like, clearly a month didn't do it. Like, you're gonna have consequences for acting like a jackass. And his boyfriend, I mean, I think his family is about to turn on him. Hank is just trying to stay out of the mandatory military service. He's like in school. He's like
Yeah. Everyone's
29 or
going
something.
national. Like, I would be
What
fucking
is it?
embarrassed.
He
I would
just
be
go.
fucking embarrassed to be a member. To be a family member of him. Like, oh fuck.
Yeah, he hasn't done service, and he's hanging around with this Western degenerate. Hank doesn't really speak Korean very well. I don't know how he doesn't speak English very well either. So I don't know what's going on there. But he was already thrown out of the United States for some shit he did. And I think illegal weapons or something in Texas. I don't know, something like that. And he's just hanging out with this degenerate, and his family is paying for both of them because they don't have real jobs, and they're not earning any money. Like their kick stream get like donations, $2, $5, stuff like that. He's not getting anything. They're drinking soju and going to gay bars. I guess it's the only safe place. He's so stupid. These people filed complaints on him that were probably not going to go anywhere. And while they were outside, he filmed them all and made deepfakes, which has gotten him in the most trouble. What a moron. He's got some more charges coming too. He doesn't know it yet. Because he's so stupid. Like he admits to it on Discord. Do you think everyone on your Discord is your fan? You fucking dumbass. Like there's obviously people in there who hate you. And they're just waiting for you to fuck up so they can give you more charges. And what they're going to do, because I already know they've been compiling this stuff, they're going to release them all at the same time so that he's overwhelmed. I think part of the reason they moved it to August is because the second deepfake charge and another third or whatever obstruction of justice charge came just like 4 or 5 days before his hearing. So they didn't have time to deal with it. The whole reason he didn't plead guilty to them all back in March, because him and even his own lawyer didn't know about the last charge. Which I think his public defender didn't care. He's like, this guy's a piece of shit. Who gives a fuck? So they got rid of him and got, a private lawyer or whatever. And that guy's been telling them, hey, knock it off. Like, you got to have, from now to August, you got to be a good boy. And he's not listening. He's just doing degenerate shit on his Discord and threatening witnesses. I'm like, well, wow, you're going to get that added, dumbass.
How was he threatening? Like, what did he say to threat? What was the threat?
Well, like for Bon, for example, he put like nude photos of her and stuff on her Discord, and well, yeah, you go, I'm gonna do this, and trying to get her to drop the charges on him. Like, that's gonna make her double down, you dumb fuck, because you already did it. See, if you're gonna threaten someone, it's like, do it or I'll do this. You don't just do it and then be like, well, I'll do that more. Like, we've already done it. Idiot. And other things I won't say. I want him to go to jail so bad. I'm not going to help him. I'm not going to say what's coming. He's got some more shit coming. And I could probably say, because he's too fucking dumb to react, but his lawyer might not be. So I'm not going to help him. But there's more charges coming.
Yeah, just be careful though. I mean, he might have his entourage try to jump you outside.
Bring it. They're small.
Right? Yeah. Be
Dude,
careful.
I'm 6'1", 235. Used to teach jujitsu like professionally. Like I'm not worried. This country doesn't have guns. I can do whatever I want, wherever I want.
I wish that you can kill them, but
Easily.
yeah.
You're just gonna be asleep, bud. Get near me.
Yeah.
I'm like, please touch me. Please give me the pretext so I can be like, oh, I'm defending myself. Now I get to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Did you know how bad judo and jujitsu hurt on concrete?
No.
Every
I
throw is
know.
a broken bone. Yeah, it's terrible.
Fatality sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's gonna fucking jump me. They're so tiny too. That guy he's a little fucking troll. I think Hank's gonna fuck up too. The way he was screaming at nobody, I'm like, there was like an older lady there, and like she could have pressed charges. Maybe she did, maybe not. I don't know. I don't think so. But he could have gotten himself in hot water. I'm like, why the fuck are you screaming and cussing inside a courthouse? How fucking dumb. I mean, it's like in the stairwell, but you're still in the building. You can't even like wait till you're outside to try and fake that shit. And here's what's funny. There was a bunch of media there for Yoon, President Yoon that got impeached and da da da. It had nothing to do with Somali. And they're all like, look at all these people. Like they all have signs and stuff making it very clear why they're there, but they can't read it. They're like, look at this, look at me. He's all proud of himself. Like they don't know you, fucking moron. That was funny. I have a still picture of that. I didn't know it was going to happen, so I wasn't prepared to film everything. See, August 13th, next thing. I don't know if I'll be in Korea because that's usually when I go to the U.S. in August because kids don't have school. And it's right in the fucking middle. But I think that's the one. That one's going to be fun. Now, you can't film anything inside the courtroom. But that's where the drama's going to go down. I think if that's the whatever the final one is, could be like September or something. You're gonna see a lot of people there just to watch him go to jail. And I don't think he'll sob or cry or whatever. I don't think it'll dawn on him. He'll like smile and act like he didn't care because his whole world is like, hey chat. It's that he's that narcissistic that he's not gonna realize where he is and what's going on till he's eating fish heads in a fucking concrete room, no camera, no computer, no cell phone. Then what? I don't think people that dumb have foresight. Because if you had foresight, you wouldn't act that way. Like, well, if you do A, then B will happen. They don't get the B will happen part. Everything's present tense. They're like a goldfish. There is no future.
Oh, they're gonna learn the hard way.
I'll be goes to jail forever.
Yeah, I mean, like the guy who took down the poster in North Korea and came back half dead.
He was dead, dude. I mean, he was in a coma. He got tortured, man. They twisted his teeth with pliers. Yeah, how bad that hurt.
Are you serious?
Yep. They're like, there was no blunt force, there was no skull damage or whatever. Like, dude, no. He went through so much pain, his brain gave up. Is that Jewish kid from UVA you're talking about? His name was like Otto or
so
Osman,
they're
whatever.
not accountable for that. It is what it is, right?
Like, what are you gonna do? Go to war with North Korea? For one guy. His family, I feel bad for his family. I feel bad for him, and it's not even clear if he was taking a poster. It seemed like he was, but he was definitely being tortured, and he admitted to shit like he was like, yeah, it was for the Seven Society, which is this like fraternity at UVA, and what'd he say? Just ridiculous shit. Like the Methodist Church, when he's not even Christian, he's a Jew. It's like the Methodist Church and the Seventh Society and the Freemasons, whatever. He just naming things. They made him say stuff that looked like that's who he needed to get the poster for or whatever. So it was a way of doing what they wanted, admitting and blaming things on America, but also making it so ridiculous that you know that he's being forced to say these things. I'm like, man, just say whatever they want you to say. Everybody already knows they're making you say them. Don't act like they're not going to figure out that you're overselling. Like Shawn Michaels Hogan match or something. Like, they know. Kim Jong-un speaks English.
I'm pretty sure Putin speaks English too, right?
No. Some.
I would think, but that's not.
He speaks German. That's like fluently. His English, I bet he could probably listen to English and respond in Russian. Which is sort of a phase you get in when you're learning a language. You get to a point where like you can understand it, but you can't speak it. But you know, kids are like that too. They listen way more than they can say. But until you're like absolutely fluent, it's useless for his kind of job. You know, you're going to have to know exactly what's being said, and you need interpreters for that. And English is a weird language. It's one of the most, it's the largest as far as like area. And so you get the most diversity because the further areas are from each other, the more dialects of English or dialects of whatever you end up with. And there's a lot of idioms and cultural references and phrases and stuff that you need to really be immersed to know what the fuck people are talking about. There's so much sarcasm in English. In fact, I'll give you an example where purely based on the stress put on the word changes the whole meaning of the sentence. And you guys can Israel this if you ever want to give this example. So if I said something like, I didn't say we should kill him. Okay, now watch this. I didn't say we should kill him. Means it wasn't me. I didn't say we should kill him. I didn't say we should kill him. That means I just did it without saying it, right? I didn't say we should kill him. I didn't say we should kill him. I didn't say we should kill him. And my favorite, I didn't say we should kill him. Someone else. And just based on where I exaggerated that, because we would never, it would be more subtle. But a native would know just why I gave a little bit more stress to this word, and it completely changes the meaning. It's the same sentence, same grammar, same verb, same noun, all that. And there's a lot of stuff like that, and you don't notice it until you're trying to explain something to someone that it doesn't speak English. Now, like, aren't all languages like that? No. Japanese, for example, everything is contextual. Everything. But it's pretty flat. Intonations and stuff. There's a lot of unsaid stuff that you're supposed to know and assume somehow from the greater context. They don't even use a lot of pronouns, maybe once. You know, they'll have a proper noun, let's say your name or something. But from then on, there's no he, she, I, nothing. They have words for it, but almost never used. You just know. They could be like, and that's like 3 sentences. It in the right context. Everyone knows what that breath of air meant. It's amazing. Well, we have that in English a little bit. Say with the word right. If I drag out the I, right, what's that mean? It means it's not right. Sure. Means yeah.
Right, that's sarcasm. Yeah.
Sure. Means I don't believe you at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Means no. A double positive, and it means no.
Or whatever.
Or in Australia English, which is super confusing, they say he had nah. Yes, no. Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. What the fuck is that? No, it means yes, it isn't.
Or like more or less.
English has this fucked up thing where they'll say a negative, where you have to say a whole. You can't say yes or no to it. Isn't it true that? Or didn't you blah blah blah? You have to say no, I didn't. Yes, I did. You can't just say yes or no. Like, what do you mean? Because you're starting with the negative. Why don't you say did you blank? Don't do this didn't you blank. It's backwards. And it doesn't make sense from place to place. Like a lot of people, like Jamaican is English technically. Pretty hard to understand though. Same with the Scots. Yeah. The closest English to American English is probably Canadian or Irish.
Oh yeah. Just different accents.
But even though the Caribbean is so close, it's not really the same. Yeah. Whatever. Somali's going to jail. He's got mandatory sentences. Not much on the obstruction of business, like 3 months in jail each. But the deep fakes, that's when you're getting into 6 months to 12 years. It's not going to be 6 months.
Are the Tate still going through trial or?
Oh, yeah. Well, kind of. Like, so the Romania shit's pretty much over. And as soon as that happened, the UK comes in with the same crap, human trafficking, rape, and something called actual bodily harm. For Andrew, at least. 3 victims for Andrew. All 11 charges on Tristan are from one person. They don't even know who it is. Don't even have a name or anything. And they're like somewhere between the years 2012 and 2015. Great. Like, when did this happen? Where did this happen? Who did it supposedly happen to? Can't make a defense because they don't even, it's all like Jane Doe's. You're like, well, I don't know who it happened to because it didn't happen. So how am I supposed to figure this out? One of the girls saying it about Andrew is like fat and gross too. Maybe she wasn't 10 years ago. I don't know. I think she's just made it up. There's another one. They have a text message where he says some outrageous, typical Andrew Tate shit like, I so enjoy raping you. But the next sentence is something like, and I love how you let me, and how you're conflicted. Don't deny that you're conflicted or something like that. So it's kind of like pretty clear that it's role play. Like, what kind of moron would write that down? And why would you see him again afterwards? And just so many things wrong with it. But they're not going to add that part. They're just going to take the first sentence. I love raping you. Like, see, he admits he raped her. Like, read the rest of it. I was like, man, if you're, this is before he had money, but like, if you're a guy and you have money and you do role play of whatever, rape fantasies, S&M, spanking, choking, whatever the fuck you're doing, you need to fucking like write up a contract or at least never write that shit down. Because any girl anywhere can just change your mind and ruin your life.
Yeah, like that other guy. What was his name? Scott. Who's that other guy you have on? He's like he was a former military guy.
Oh, Scott Ritter?
Scott
Yeah.
Ritter, yeah.
Yeah, they did him dirty too. And
Yeah.
well, they did him dirty again, not with sexual shit, but they like raided his house like he's some Russian agent. No evidence or anything. They just broke in, took his computer, took his laptop, took all the stuff, and took his passport. And
Oh
for
wow,
what?
how long ago?
When was that? It was last year. Like last.
Huh?
Uh,
You can only think of
it's been
one
like
thing he was
it's been
talking
like
about
half a year
Israel.
at least. Because I was going to do an interview with him. And he's like, wait till I get my new passport. I'm like, oh, am I that much of a pariah? I'm like, okay, yeah, get your passport. Fine. His Twitter got fucked with the two people kept trying to sign into his name over and over again, which would trigger the two verification thing, which you didn't have on him. So fortunately, he shares his Twitter with some other people so they could sign in. But whatever. Yeah. Fucking dumb. But yeah, with
They're tagging
him,
him
it was
down.
like he was doing cyber sex or something. Whatever. I'm not gonna judge. But that's like not illegal. And it was a cop pretending to be an adult pretending to be a kid, or a kid pretending to be an adult. Well, it was an adult. It's an adult cop acting like an adult with an adult intellect, talking to another adult as an adult, and then at the tail end of the fucking conversation, when he's finishing to whatever, he's like, "Oh, P.S. I'm 15." Like, you can't just swerve like that. And and Ritter even wrote back, I ain't into that. I don't want to get in trouble. Like, that's whatever you're saying. No, didn't matter.
Yeah.
Just jerked off in front of a 15-year-old or whatever. Like, but he didn't. You've been an adult the whole fucking time, and then you just pull that out in the middle. And the thing is he can't defend himself without also trashing himself. Like, it is no one's business at all what's to adults do privately sexual stuff. But you have to say it because the alternative's worse. You got to explain this, and
Yeah, it's quite embarrassing.
it's already out
Yeah.
there. I wouldn't tell anyone either, but it's, they're like, why do you have a rapist on your show? I'm like, he didn't fucking rape anybody. He didn't molest anybody. He didn't meet anybody. He didn't touch anybody. He didn't even see anybody in real life. It was a conversation on a fucking computer. Do you want to know the kind of nasty shit that people say to each other in chats on computers? Like, in the, auspice of fantasy or whatever. You don't want that out. It's not real. I mean, people pretend to be vampires and shit. They don't actually suck each other's blood and murder people and stuff. People have rape fantasies, but they don't want real rape. People have fucking incest fantasies, but I don't think they'd actually do that. People, whatever, they do whatever. That's their business. This teacher and schoolgirl or nurse and patient and the typical stuff.
Yeah.
But it's
We all
not
have
real
our
life.
kinks and shit.
Who gives? It's just uniforms. Whatever. Who cares? We're so oversexed. I just don't give a shit about it. Like, even the Diddy stuff, I'm like, I don't care if you pee on each other, if you get a midget in a whip and you dress up in diapers or whatever. It's it's all you. Why do I care what you're doing sexually? I don't. As long as you're not breaking the law and you're keeping kids out of it, you can do whatever. Well, yeah, keep animals out of it too, I guess. But you gotta be careful when you say whatever.
Well, you can't stop Canada from doing that.
No, it's poor moose. Lindsey Graham too, man. That was a hamster holocaust.
Oh, dude. Oh my gosh.
Hamsters call Lindsey
Oh
Graham
my
Mangala.
no.
Did he tattoo their arms?
Oh.
I can see that. Lindsey Graham dressed up like Himmler. All right, hamsters. Get in there
Oh god.
and wiggle.
Get
Get in there and
in the
wiggle.
bunker.
Get in the bunker, yeah. Fire in the hole. Lindsey Graham screaming Armageddon. He's such a, like
Hey,
if you're
when,
gay,
when's
just
oh,
just be gay. No one nowadays cares. But
right.
but when you're a closeted gay like him, you're just ripe for blackmail.
Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't been doing that yet.
And that guy is gayer than a box of AIDS.
How is he not getting blackmailed?
I think he is. It's clear. The Israelis got him wrapped around their finger.
Yeah, but he's saying everything they want him to say.
Yeah, he'll keep doing that.
Oh,
He has to. The moment he's not a senator, I guess they could throw him under the bus. But
oh yeah.
he's he's the gayest thing since paper straws.
Yeah. At first, I
Who
thought
the
he was
hell
in the
came
Biden
up with a
administration.
straw made of paper? Whoever thought of that doesn't have kids. Kids drink stuff really slowly, and the paper just disintegrates in the drink. Like, just who came up with this crap?
Well, no, Ryan. We shouldn't have kids anyway because of climate change.
Yeah, there you go. Let's if we don't have a planet, we can't continue the species. I'm like, if you don't have kids, you can't either. I think some people shouldn't have kids.
Yeah.
No offense, Canada. No, I'm kidding.
Oh
Yeah, I love
damn.
how Scott Steiner calls Canada Northern Mexico. That's great.
Dude, they're getting swarmed by Pajeets. It is insane.
Canada's on a path of cultural suicide. It's sad because,
Yeah, dude.
Canada up to about 1990s was fine, and yeah, they had Harper and then Trudeau, and that did him in. Trudeau did him in. It's embarrassing when someone's like, what? I'm Canadian, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, sorry. I mean, sorry to hear that. Hey, it really is.
Dude.
Like, oh, you're from Canada? That's gotta suck. Watching your nation
Yeah.
fall apart so fast.
Canada subways are so crowded with Pajeets, and they're forcing each other going in the train. Like, what the fuck is going on? It's a total surge.
They just bring their Pajit problems with them. It's not like they're getting India's best and brightest. They're just getting trash.
No, they're not. Yeah.
Yep. I don't know how to fix Canada, man. I used to call it Kukistan. I don't know how
Trudeau's
Jeremy
out of the country.
McKenzie puts up with it, man. You know him? Jeremy McKenzie? It's like, I don't even think they let him leave. I think if they let him leave, he'd probably go live in Alaska or something. It's Letterkenny, Trailer Park Boys. Where's Wayne Gretzky when you need him? Or Bret Hart? I don't know.
Yeah.
They even like the best Canadians. Even Chris Benoit is better than Trudeau.
Dude. Oh my god.
Too soon. Man, he
That's
had
so funny.
PTE. That if you kind of get like an adult nuanced view of that double murder suicide. His brain had so much plaque it looked like an 80-year-old man. They said, and the only guy to really defend him after he brutally murdered his wife and child, for those that don't know, was Animal from Hawk and Animal, one of the Road Warriors. What's his name? John something, whatever. He's like, hey man, that like they autopsied him and he had CTE. And now WWF or WWE wanted to avoid that because they think, oh crap, we're culpable. Like it's not steroids, it's chair shots to the head. But he had a finisher where he would like headbutt him from the third rope. If you mess that up a couple times, you're definitely getting concussed. And yeah,
Yeah, I mean the WWE. It was
his
hard for them to
forehead
feel
was like
sorry.
visibly swollen all the time. I remember saying to my girlfriend, it was just Chris Benoit was outside the ring doing something. That I'm like, that guy looks like a fucking serial killer for real. Like, I don't think there's any acting here. He was, you could tell. But she met him in the airport. God, it was like a week before he did it. And because she like got flustered and dropped all her stuff, and he helped her pick it up. And he was really polite and nice. And Nancy was there, or woman they used to call her, and it was in Atlanta. And he signed like a note card she had, and he wrote Chris Benoit, WWF, but it had been WWE for a while. But he wrote WWF on it
Oh,
anyway, which might have shown
that's
where
kind
his
of
head
cool.
was, or it was out of spite or something. I don't know. But yeah, I was like, "What the fuck? You met Chris Benoit?" And she was doing cave diving, or whatever, and that was the airport she had to change planes at. And I was in the Caymans. I met Nikki Hilton, Paris's sister, and a whole bunch of her entourage and shit. And which I don't care about at all, but she would have. And I wanted to meet Chris Benoit, and
Dude, she
she
was
had
hot.
watched wrestling, but she ain't a real fan or anything. Definitely knew who he was though, and knew how important that would have been to me. So she got his autograph. She's like, "Did you get her
You're
autograph?"
talking
I'm
about
like,
the
"No,
diva.
I got
Are you
pictures
talking about the
together
diva,
though."
Nikki?
No, no divas. Nikki Hilton is Paris Hilton's sister. They
Oh,
own
never
a
mind.
Hilton Hotel.
Oh,
I didn't know that
respect.
at the time. I didn't know who the fuck she is. I didn't know who Paris was either. Found out later. I met their cousin. He owned I think it was called Sharky's or something, some like bar restaurant thing he owned. And it was somebody's birthday. And I thought, oh, okay, we're going. And there's a bunch of girls there from the University of Texas. And me, and I took my little brother down there. And people were, coked out of their mind. And this place had like ice sculptures and 4 swimming pools. Like, what the fuck? I did not know what kind of party and how wealthy they were and what we were getting into at all. Uh, our driver passed out on the way back to our hotel, and so I had to drive, and I forgot they're on the wrong side of the road.
Oh my god.
And I've got this black guy half in my lap who's passed out coming down from cocaine, and a bunch of girls in the back, and driving someone else's car on the wrong side of the road. And cop comes, and I'm like, fuck. And it pulled the car over in front of me. Even though I got on the right side of the road quickly, but it wasn't after us. But they weren't worried at all. They were laughing. They're like, it doesn't matter if we get pulled over, because they could just pay the way out of everything. But I didn't know. I was like,
Right.
it's a fucking cop. I'm like, shit. And then we're at this jacuzzi thing, and they've got like security cards getting in the pool with them, and they just did whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah.
It was like Blair, Claire, Nikki, Lance, I don't remember, Lacey or something like that. They were They're just like, we own everything. Okay.
Yeah,
Good for you.
that's awesome.
Probably do. Yeah, I remember drinking in the hot tub or something. I was a good boy though, because I'd only been dating this other girl for like a month, and yeah, and she met Chris Benoit. I'm like, God damn it! I wish I had met him. But then again, considering what happened. But everyone
Yeah,
around
didn't you
him,
say?
you know, Chavez and Eddie and all that, they're like, he was not like that. Who knows what happened? Just lost it one day. He thought they'd all go to heaven. That's what he wrote. Like, we're all better off in heaven. I don't know. CTE's it's pretty serious.
Yeah, rest in peace.
And then again, you know, because he like drug her up and down the stairs, blood everywhere and all that. But it's like, you know, did anyone ask what did she say?
Yeah. Right. Like what did you do? And you're asking me shit. What happened?
There was rumors Kevin Sullivan did it, because there was a little bit of signs where Chris would be like, "Someone's following me." He would like take a different route home, like he thought someone was after him.
Oh shit.
That doesn't mean somebody came and murdered him all and framed him or anything, but it just shows where his head was. That like he thought people would follow him home from the gym.
Oh
I'm
shit.
like, dude, they could just go to the gym, idiot. You know what I mean? Like, even if someone was following you to your house, they know where you live and they know you go to that gym, so they could follow you to the gym and get you there or whatever. I don't know, but he was like paranoid about stuff that definitely wasn't happening. Who's following you, Chris? Like, chair shots, man. You know, most of them don't
Was
end
one?
up that way, but it's like, look, they all do steroids, but they don't end up murdering their
Yeah.
spouse or whatever. But here's a guy who's an excellent technical wrestler, knew the game, worked his ass off, went to every show, came early, could work well with anybody and make them look good. You know, great wrestler, one of the best, but just was a little bit on the small size for WWE standards. You know, he's like 5'10" or 11 or something. That just doesn't work when you're in there with 300-pound monsters like Kane and stuff. Like, it's not believable. Which is a shame, because if he was wrestling today, he fit right in, because they started drug testing and they got rid of roids and everybody shrank. And they're not all super tall giants either. But they were. And so when you're in there with Big Show and Undertaker and Kane and people like that, and you're 5'10", he never felt with it. But I'm like, dude, Chris Jericho's about the same size. The Hardy Boys might be 6 feet, but they're, 230 or something. Like, it's everyone knows it's rigged or predetermined, and so they just want to see the athleticism of it and get your moves in and everything. It's fine. Anyone can beat anyone in pro wrestling because it isn't real. But
Yeah.
he that's like trying to like. You don't need to get all jacked up, dude. If you're that tall, you kind of have a limit no matter what you do. Just get your move set in, do your reversals and do your techniques. It's interesting. You don't have to be fucking Scott Steiner, Ultimate Warrior, shredded, and you don't have to be as fucking tall as Great Khali or whatever.
What's going on with Mr. McMahon? Is he still going through the trial,
It
or
looks
did he
like
lose
John
everything?
Laurinaitis is going to turn on him. He's another guy that was fucking, what's her name? Janelle Grant, I think it was. So
Right.
it's been a while since I looked at this, but she's now dropped him from the suit. I'm like, oh, so all that stuff about John Laurinaitis and the tech vet, he's no longer on it? Well, he must have done a plea bargain against it. Must be, what do they call it, with prejudice or whatever. So it's like a plea bargain. Like, okay, you're off under this condition that you'll turn evidence on Vince. My thing there is, bitch, you are 40 years old, 39 and a half, 40, 41. You're not some little kid. You absolutely knew what the fuck was going on. Yeah, you're sleeping with a 78-year-old, but he's not a normal 78-year-old. He's all jacked up on roids and this and that. But like, you fucking clearly knew what you're doing. You're in a building, like with a penthouse, whatever. I guess your parents paid for it or something. Like, what was your job before that? You're just a professional hoe. And it's the whole thing that he got set up, man. And the moment, I mean, she signed some NDA and he was going to pay her like $3 million. He had already paid her about $1.2 million or something. And then Ari Emanuel and stuff come in because they merged WWE and UFC together, so that what they call it TKO. And was like, "What's this? Get rid of this." So he quit paying her. And then, now she was sexually assaulted and all that. She did it. Her text messages back to him are just as nasty as the ones he had to her. But he did this weird shit where he wanted her to fuck wrestlers and stuff. Try to get her to fuck
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar, for example.
Oh
Whatever.
wow.
Again, she was nasty, man. And it's just stuff like there was this thing where she, one time, she was like on the phone with him at her desk with her bullshit show up and get paid job. And he's like, wanted her to finger herself and get her panties all wet, but keep them on, he said. He said she's rubbing her clit, getting wet. And then he had her take her panties off and put them in the desk or something. So like people don't know that you're at work with no underwear on. That turned him on or whatever. And then he had her take the wet-ish panties and put them in her mouth. Like hold them in your mouth. So like people are coming up to her, she's not wearing panties and she's got a pair of panties that she's been playing with herself on in her mouth. And she's got a nod and to people and stuff. And he's watching this on the
Damn.
phone and like getting off on it. Like they don't know that you got your own underwear in your mouth. And it's just a control thing. Like I got her to put her panties in her mouth at work.
Yeah.
As if anybody at WWE would give a fuck with the stuff they see. Like, I don't care if you
Yeah,
have
and
your
she
underwear in your mouth.
consented.
Like, that's something we'd do on the show. Like, it wouldn't matter. But,
Yeah, it's all
yeah.
chicks.
Yeah, I mean, the fucking. How about we throw you through a plate of glass and then do that? Like, the stuff they do, panties, big deal. We have girls wrestling in fucking gravy in thongs. You know, whatever. They have
Whoa.
a they have bra and panties matches. That's like a match where the girls try to strip each other. That's a normal fucking thing during the Attitude Era. So whatever. She swallowed her panties and then had to pull them out and put her fucking saliva-soaked panties back on. Whatever. Stupid shit like that is in the emails, and yeah, I'm like, that's not illegal. It's just perverted. Who cares? All she had to do is say, no, I ain't doing that, or just tell him, yeah, I'm doing it. It's like, what, do you got a camera phone it? I don't know. But he's like, oh, he made me do this, he made me do that. I'm like, well, why didn't you say something the first time something like that happened? Why are you doing this over and over again? Because you like the lifestyle and all the free gifts and the free car and living in a penthouse and getting the bags and all that stuff. That's why you did it. You cannot get all the benefits of it and then be like, you know what? I didn't like that. Now I want his money too. But you can do that actually. That's why a guy should never shower a girl with gifts. If you're doing perverted stuff and you're not married, or even if you are really, she can take you to the cleaners. You can't. If she had you do a bunch of sick stuff, you can't complain. If a guy's like, "Oh, she made me do this," they just laugh at you. Like, why'd you do it? You're an adult. Just say, like, "No, I ain't doing that." Well, then she'd cut me off from all the gift giving and things. Like, well, that's just not real life. It's always the other way around. Yeah. See, if he was doing that to one of his wrestlers that he could fire or something, or like to some 20-year-old or 18-year-old, but a 40-year-old that worked at Titan Towers or whatever. Come on. She did some sick shit too. I mean, nasty. Vince has a mind. He even named dildos after different wrestlers, and they were like racially specific. So like, there's like a Bobby Lashley dildo. There's like a they're like named after the wrestlers. It's fucked.
Wow, makes
I
it
don't
born
understand
in
this cuck
WWE. That's crazy.
adjacent shit. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Yeah, Pat Patterson was a flamer. He got caught with some wrestler trying to leverage him into gay sex. Yep. It's a fucking circus over there. Or was. It was worse in the 80s and 90s too, apparently. But you think some of these guys like Flair, he's got to have some stories. He'd at least know what other people were doing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the Undertaker. Can you imagine?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, he'd at least know the rumors. You know what I mean? Probably wouldn't do it in front of him, but you just got to know. You got to sort of know, you know? I bet that guy's doing this.
You're a Kane fan,
a lot
right?
of pain pills. Yeah, hell yeah. I like Glenn Jacobs as a mayor, too. I like his politics.
Well, I try to bring it up. Whoever was a WWE fan, like, hey, it's May 19th. And they don't get it. Yeah.
No. Kane was one of my favorites. It was a great character. And like,
noble.
I did not see his match where he got the title from Austin in the blood match. That was the same as the Hell in the Cell thing. I missed one of the greatest matches ever. Had to work. The Mick Foley Undertaker. I didn't see that either.
Dude, that was awesome. I remember that.
But they had Kane win the title and then like lose it on Raw the next day. I'm like, that was fucked. He didn't even have it 24 hours because they did it like right at the beginning of Raw too. It wasn't even at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, that sucks. He did have a championship though. That's the only time they gave him the belt. He had the tag titles and stuff, but he had a lot of titles. Kane actually has the most wins and the most losses. He had so many fucking matches. Yep.
Dang.
Because he's around from the Attitude Era to about like 2 years ago or something, or whatever. Not, or maybe like.
Yeah, he was like in the middle of every drama.
Mm-hmm. A lot of matches. I liked back in the day, if I won't know him, but Muhammad Hassan. He could get in there and piss him off. He's a Muslim. It's like, he's got some points. It's kind of that old, like the Iron Sheik, but not all coked up. Iron Sheik had the best thing one time. Vince pulled him in his office. He's like, Iron, because the cops had brought him in and they're like new, they're wrestlers and they take them to wrestlers court or whatever. And then Vince is like, well, Sheik, hey pal, they were like, we got the results you got your blood back for the cocaine. You tested positive. And he's like, well, that's good, right? Positive? And like, no. Sheik. Positive's not good. You got negative. He's like, well, did JYD, Junkyard Dog, and Tito San Martino, or whatever the fuck it was, who was with him, did they get a positive? Like, no, they passed. He goes, I don't understand. They were doing the cocaine with me.
Damn.
Fucking idiot. Whoever it was. Junkyard Dog was one of them. I don't know who the other person was in the story. by somebody. He's like, I don't know why they did it too.
Dude, Kurt Angle is one of my favorite wrestlers.
He's another guy that could have a good match with anybody. I would have my dream match. I would have loved to see Angle versus Bret Hart. I think that would have been
Dude.
right.
Yeah.
That's the one that never happened. The closest we got was Angle Benoit,
Yeah.
but Bret Hart's a notch up from that, and a little bigger, and just yeah, that would have been great. That one of my favorite Angle matches though is with Shane McMahon. It was the King of the Ring, and it was hardcore match. That was off the chain. I want
I
to
think
say it was
I,
like 98 or something. I'm not sure.
I remember there was a steel cage match. It was my first time watching WWE, and he won the steel cage match and the belt.
Oh wow. My first wrestling match ever was on Friday the 13th, and it was the Road Warriors, and they ran a gauntlet. They'd be like 3 teams in a row, and then like the main event was Flair versus somebody, and everybody hated Flair. They're like, he's undefeated. I was like, well, I'm going to cheer for him. He's from North Carolina. I didn't know nothing.
Dude,
I guess that's
the
the first.
DX
That's the first
2.0.
match I saw. So I knew who Hulk Hogan was when I was like 5. But we'd just see them on like Saturday morning and stuff. Never seen. Well, I'd seen wrestling. I hadn't seen a pay-per-view until the Road Warriors, whatever. But someone's house. But it was NWA back then.
Wow.
Yep. And then I watched WCW because that's what was around in our territory. And we would see the commercials and stuff for WWF, but we couldn't really watch it. And I don't know when. I guess it was like around when Hogan was feuding with Boss Man or whatever. It was way after Savage and all that. And then WrestleMania 6 with Warrior. We got that. From then on, we could watch WWF because it was on USA Today, and then they changed channels, and our island didn't have it, so they were gone again. Same thing when they went to SmackDown. We didn't have UNP or whatever the fucking channel was. So we could only watch Monday Night Raw, and we couldn't watch SmackDown. It's like, why aren't you just all
Yeah,
on the
SmackDown
same
will be
channel?
on Fridays. I remember. When I was a kid.
No, they do Thursday SmackDown and Monday Raw and Sunday Night Heat, but SmackDown was on like UNP or some channel we didn't have, whatever it was. And then the Raw was moved to Spike, which used to be TNT, I think. And before that was on USA. But whatever. We had Spike, so we could watch Raw, we could watch Heat, couldn't watch SmackDown. And Hogan was on SmackDown. I'm like, God damn it, I want to see these SmackDown matches. And couldn't. You'd see clips from it on Heat sometimes.
Oh,
But,
dude,
yeah,
he
so you
was
don't.
cool.
Yeah. Sunday Night Heat got Kitty their start. If you've ever heard that metal band from Canada, they got to play Brackish or something on Sunday Night Heat and did a music video. They launched them. John Johnson did that for them.
That's
A lot
cool.
of metal bands kind of got introduced through WWE.
Oh, yeah.
In fact,
I like their
fucking
soundtracks. Yeah.
Rob Zombie's a huge fan of wrestling. And he had Edge come up on the stage and shit. Like,
Dude, Edge was awesome.
Didn't Rage Against the Machine isn't that Degeneration X? Didn't they make that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that
Yeah.
one. Yep.
And then of course Triple H had Lenny do his song. So
Motorhead.
Motorhead did Time to Play the Game. It's a great song. I met him in a bar in LA. I went upstairs in the Rainbow Room. They had something called like the Viper's Nest or the Vampire's Lair or something like that. And I did this like 3-hour long interview about JFK that a guy filmed. A guy from the Discovery Channel was filming it and somehow like lost the tapes. But I remember, because I'm on a, like 17-hour time difference or whatever, I had to piss the whole time. But I didn't want to like stop and go
Oh
pee,
shit.
so I just
Yeah.
kept talking about Kennedy. And by the end of it, I had to piss like a racehorse, man. And there's Motorhead. And I'm like, oh my God, he's drinking Jack Daniels. I
Oh
really want to
shit.
talk to him, but I was like, the bathroom was down another floor or something. So I had to go down there and deal with that and all that and come back up. And I remember Guns N' Roses was on, and he was drinking Jack with ice cubes. So I got the same thing. And he just talked some bullshit for a little bit. But I was like, hey, that was cool. I asked him, I said, hey, and I'm like, he must get Motorhead all the time. I'm like, aren't you the narrator for Tromeo and Juliet? Because he is. That was from
Dude, yeah, that's
Toxic
awesome.
Avenger. Yeah. Because their web hosting thing got bought out by Newgrounds. I used to know Tom Folt and Jeff Tatum and those guys. I don't know if you know who Newgrounds is. Newgrounds.com. It's like the
No.
first flashware, fucking early internet trash before Eben's World and all that. It was all Newgrounds. They had the first, Grand Theft Auto, the game?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Grand
of
Theft Auto
course.
2 was on that site. And Grand
Oh
Theft Auto
shit.
1. Yeah, exactly. Pico's Revenge and just murdering Teletubbies, all kinds of fucking horrible early Flash animation, and it was all on Newgrounds. It was just where you put. It was a war zone, man. You could see anything on the internet back then, and they ruined it. But
Kind of like a 4chan.
it was much worse than 4chan
Oh
because
shit.
it was more than it wasn't just text and pictures. It was like full on everything. A lot of it was nonsense, and a lot of it was shooting stuff, like shooting whatever. But some cool games and like counterculture and stuff came out of it too. But they got it from the Troma films. Toxic Avenger is probably their big hit, but Romeo and Juliet is Romeo and Juliet, but metal. So it opens up with the Capulets or whatever, and she's getting a nipple piercing, and like it starts off with like a titty getting a piercing, and that's the Capulets. And then some guy put a brick in his sock, and they fighting with I don't even remember the Shakespeare shit because they changed all of it in Tromeo, but it's just fucking trash, but in a good way. And who better to narrate it than Motorhead? Lady up there just going
Yeah.
speaking. They have him speaking the original Shakespeare because that's funny. But then it just goes back when it cuts back to the acting. It's all degenerate shit again. And like Juliet's got a secret lesbian lover and all this whatever. Like, glorious trash. Uh, those were my
Yeah, I
people
gotta
back in
check
the
that
day.
out. Nice.
Yeah, it's great. There's a lot of trauma films. They're all like that. They're all just, I don't know. It's how it was back when we had freedom.
Back when Howard Stern was saying a bunch of crazy shit.
He was minor compared to some of the stuff we had back then, but it was
Oh
just,
shit.
now what do you got? Netflix, where every historical piece is black people.
Yeah.
I'm
You
like,
got
are you doing this
G-Flix.
to piss people off on purpose? Just, I don't know. They are. I think this social engineering is on purpose. Like it's the South Park got it right. Like just make it dumb and gay and put a chick in it. Whatever.
Oh yeah.
Then they started
Yeah, they were
ruining
always pointing
Marvel.
fingers.
They ruined Star Wars. They ruined Lord of the Rings. They fucking ruined He-Man. That was the last straw. They started fucking with Spider-Man. I got really mad. I'm like, you guys suck. I don't acknowledge any of this new shit. The weirdest thing
Yeah,
was
I
the
mean,
Black Little Mermaid. I'm like, oh, right. can't be
Yeah.
black. It swims.
They're stupid racial like reboots.
They fucking ate it with Snow White, though. That Colombian chick that played Snow White. Like, Snow White cannot be 4 feet tall with like a crooked chin. Like, she's supposed to be the fairest in the land and the most beautiful and all, like, sorry. That's not, what's her name? Rachel, what is it? Zegler? Whatever. No. They don't really have beautiful actresses anymore. Have you noticed that? Like, who's the hot
Yeah.
actress nowadays? They're all gross.
Yeah. I can only think of like the late 90s.
They just don't have it. Like, who's the new Monica Bellucci, Samla Hayek, Kate Beckinsale, whatever? No, you don't have anything like that. It's just trash. The men too, they're all pale. Like,
Yeah. Bunch of twinks.
you look at the old James Bonds, for example. They weren't steroided out or anything, you know, but it had some believability and charm. Nowadays, there's nothing like that.
And intellect for sure, like Sean Connery.
Sean Connery, yeah. That is James Bond in my head. But even the action heroes and stuff, like, there's no more Van Damme, there's no more Schwarzenegger, there's none of that. It's like, it's just gone. Maybe The Rock, I don't know. Ugh. He got on the roids. He's the one roid head left in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And it worked. He was on everything. I don't know. Good movies. I don't know if they were always bad and I was just younger, so I didn't know. But it seems like to me, quality's gone down. I haven't seen a film with subplots and stuff like The Godfather or something like that in a long time. Not with modern movies. No way. Even the
Yeah,
TV shows, where they kind of had that going with Game of Thrones and fucked it all up. You're like, wow, you found a way to screw this up. I feel really bad for the Star Wars fans. I was never into Star Wars, but I know some people, it was like their religion, and it got raped. Like, that sucks.
yeah.
They ruined your childhood.
To the point where it was unrecognizable and just faking gay.
Like, I can recognize that was a big franchise, even though it was something I never really got into. It was huge. It was bigger than Star Trek or any of the other space things. But those sequels or prequels, whatever, horrible. And like, why do you care about that? I'm like, well, it's part of our culture. And they ruined it. Anything masculine, they got to destroy. I just don't get the point. Like, create your own stuff. Why are you destroying old stuff?
Well, there's no creativity anymore, man. They have to like find more reboots.
I'm waiting for Netflix to reboot Jaws and make the shark black.
Oh my god, dude! The great black shark.
Exactly. It's like reverse albino.
It's gonna
Of
come up
course,
with a different theme.
Jaws
a
is the
different
bad
theme when the
guy,
shark
so
comes in.
you can't do that. Plus, Jaws can swim, so it's not believable. Anyway, that's enough. We did serious stuff in the beginning, and then it got into wrestling. anyone that's still listening is just either falling asleep to me or just bored. So I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, dude. Have a good one. Peace.
After 18 years, I've decided to finally stop drinking. Poor quality tequilas. Who needs the headache? Introducing Talisman. Tequila by Tate.